Right, so before we get into tearing some Mirage down today, hope all you guys keep yourselves safe out there from that COVID-19 or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it. It has put a hindering on all car events, pretty much every single event I was going to do. It's put a hinder on the whole lot. So there'll be more. I've got more time to work on this Mirage now, so stick with me while we get through the pandemic of the COVID-19, and yeah, hopefully I can still put some good stuff together for you while it is what it is. I'm still going to do some work on the Toyota, and I've just teed up with a buddy of mine who's going to come and do some work panel wise and bit of painting on my wagon, so there's that to come as well. So, but today we're gonna haul the fuel tank out of this Mirage and take the back bumper off it, because I've got somebody who's interested in, well, two people who are interested in both those two parts. So get some tools and get ready and get into it. Cheers. Also, another thing, we're still waiting to hear on when we're going to confirm a time with Dawson to pull this engine, do a bit of a time trial. So guys, head over to his page and comment on his things. When are you going to pull the engine and when are you going to blow it up? And then it might get a bit more motivation out of him. Right, so start by jacking her up. And she might get into jacking her up, but put it on a bit of a time lapse. Have a feeling. Remember guys, safety third, always use jack stands. Just slide off there. If anybody's got a good way of undoing locking wheel nuts that have got their like little flowery insert pattern on them, I'll put a picture up. Let me know, because I can't get these wheels off, because I ain't got no key. Some stands going on. Okay. I know it's on grass, but hey. Better than nothing, right? I remember correctly, this fuel tank's only held in bolts. Oh, come on. Stop there. Ooh. Alright, so we're chucking on a bit of a time lapse to get this bumper off. Well, that's the rear bumper off. I wonder, is that where you crashed it, Christopher? In that back corner there? So, I always forget to do this first. When you're dropping the fuel tank, it's a good idea to undo the fuel filler first. Believe me, the amount of times I've done it without dropping this first and going, oh crap, it's a pain in the ass. I was just underneath the back of the car and I found something interesting. I thought this car was 4x100. But I have a feeling it might be 4x1x43. What we'll do is I'll grab a couple of tools and so we're in here, we're going to drop this tank. But originally, so this has got a set of brakes on the front of it. And I was like, oh cool, 4x100 Mirage. I'll remove them, put them on my wagon. But now I'm looking in the back here, and that there is a CV hub. A CV joined without the axles in it. So this leads me to believe that this Mirage has all GSR hubs and everything in the back, which is quite interesting for anybody who wanted to know that about that. It all bolts up. Obviously it probably needs certification, but she all bolts up. Right, I'll get some of these bolts undone and I'll get back to you. So yeah, for anybody who wanted to know how to remove a Mirage, I'm gathering lots of fuel tanks are all the same. There's these 2 bolts here, and then there's another 2 up this end, and then there's the fuel sender on the inside, and then that fuel filler, the filler neck. And I think there's some wires for the fuel pump on the top, but that's once you dropped it down. But we'll get this bolt out and we'll have a look what's on top. So once again, Lady Luck has struck me, and I forgot to take all the bolts off for the filler neck. Alright, let's get that off. So yeah, once you drop it down, just got to plug just there, the fuel pump. There's 2 lines there, they go to join up to rubber hoses there, fuck that, cut them. And there's one here too, which I think's the rollover valve. Cut that off, and she out. Alright, so yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in and being patient with me. Once this COVID-19 stuff's all rolled over, or once we're allowed back outside properly to car events and stuff like that, we'll be back into that. I'll show you, I'm going to start putting an oil pressure gauge into my Toyota. I'll show you the little panel I made up at that in a minute. Just to go into the thing, because the car now has no sound system at all, so we're not going to run a sound system in it. At no point, the thing's too bloody loud. Yeah, but yeah, definitely, thanks for sticking around, guys, and hopefully we can get some more stuff flowing. Cheers. Here's my little plate I've made. A little silicon job's a bit rough, but that's where the heater stuff goes, and that is where the factory head unit goes. Just going to cut a couple of holes in here for a couple of bits and pieces, oil pressure gauge, and I don't know, something else, whatever else I think I've come to the time. And the new there's a battery there for it, and I'm going to leave this. I'm not going to put this in the car just yet, because I'll make that all into one video when I put the gauge in and so on and so forth. So stick with me, guys, and look after yourselves, and see you in the next